You're listening to Real Estate to Real Life with your host, Marianne Cadorna. Join us next hour as we talk with real estate-related businesses and cover everything you need to know about buying, selling, financing, and investing in real estate.
'Cause you've got personality, walk with personality, talk with personality, smile with personality, charm with personality, love with personality, and plus you got a pretty heart so over.
Welcome to Real Estate to Real Life. I'm your hostess with the mostest in personality. It's Marianne Cadorna. You can find me at 12:20 a.m., at 9 a.m., and at marianne.am. And you can say, I am what I am. I surely am your hostess with the mostest. You know why? Because I love providing you a double scoop of real estate for your information cone. And why? And you know, they say I've got personality, so why not use that spark plug personality to deliver you the message with laughter, with cheer, because in my heart you're so dear. Okay, I'm also a poet. I know it. My toes are long, fellows. A little bit TMI, too much information there. But what can I say? You know, good morning to San Francisco Bay, South Bay, East Bay, and North Bay. You know what? I'm your go-to gal. I go to you every morning. Thank you for letting me into your home today. You know what? Don't just sit there and drink your cup of coffee. Give me a call at 800-516-1220. Well, I had planned for a show regarding insurance today, but we're just going to have to wing it right now. And I also want to let you know that, by the way, we're going to have our trivia contest question. It's going to, pay close attention. It's going to glean you a $50 gas card. And you know how important that is now with the gas prices being astronomical? They're gastronomical. I'm going to be your Alka-Seltzer and help you with the gas card if you answer the information correctly. And you can also email me the answer at marianne@marianne.am. So also, topbayagents.com, Wayne Gregory Group, Market Watch. Log on to his site. You can go through, either go through me or go through his site and be able to get the local weekly accountability of what's happening in your real estate market. So let's go to that right now. By the way, the inventory is, oh my gosh, it's very painful. I was on the phone yesterday with about 3 or 4 agents, and they're all telling me how difficult it is. I mean, they have offers on properties sight unseen, and one day on the market, there's already 17 offers. But you know what? Be kind to the real estate agents because they are really getting beat up by the market, and I have to declare that because I know it. I'm right in there in the trenches with my fellow real estate agents, and real estate agents work very hard for you, so make sure to be kind, okay? And then I won't mind if you're kind, okay? So anyway, speaking of the market, I'm gonna give you 3 different markets right now, and it's supposed to be Black Hawk. So let's talk about Black Hawk today. Currently, the last week, there are 22 number of properties that are available for sale. Guess what? 0 of them were distressed at all. No REOs and no short sales. That's pretty incredible. And so there's been 3 homes newly listed and 1 price change from last week. And typically the prices tend to change lower unless it's a short sale property and the banks have it bumped up the value. And that's typically when it goes up. Now, Alameda, oh my gosh, the nice town of small island of Alameda. It's got 33 properties currently for sale, and 3 of the properties are in distress. There's 2 foreclosed properties and 1 short sale, and that represents 9% of the market, and that's for what's happened for last week. So Alameda's doing pretty good, but 3 out of 33, that's not bad at all. So now let's go to Oakland. Oakland has 343 properties for sale last week. Anyway, and 35 properties were distressed, and 11 of those were foreclosures, and 24 were short sale. This represents 10% of the market. Post-crash, all the investors were basically jumping on board Oakland because there were so many properties in the $100,000 range. There were duplexes for like $105,000 in decent areas. So that's what you have right now. Again, if you want to find out what's happening in your marketplace, go to topbayagents.com. You'll find me there, Marianne Cadorna. You can sign up to get your weekly Market Watch report, and shows you what's trending sales in your area. And you know what? or you can log on to you can log on to gregorygroup.com as well. So speaking of real estate, a lot of people are becoming expats, and I guess the greatest motivating factor for that is quality of life, and we all know a lot of people are suffering from the lack thereof. And I hate to keep talking about post-crash, but we're in a post-crash scenario. And we have to be able to make sure that you are aware of the opportunities that are global. Globally speaking, Boracay, I call you. Come to me, come to me. Aqua Boracay. It's a beautiful 5-star destination resort. Actually, it was also voted #1 by Travel and Leisure magazine as the best destination place, and they're selling wonderful condominiums, and there are currently about 10 left in phase 1, and the time to buy in is when the phase 1 is there, the prices are low. By the time you get to the last phase, the prices are high. But speaking of prices that are high, I want to prize my current guest because he is here, and I'd like for him to come on. And there's my special guest, which is none other than Orlando Frasca of Rogers Insurance Services. And good morning, Orlando.
Hey, Marianne. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I was just reading off the Black Hawk market trend for last week, and there were 0 short sales and 0 foreclosed properties, and I think that's pretty incredible for Black Hawk right now. So it looks like the market's recovering in the Black Hawk area. Yeah,
no, it looks that way, and we've actually seen an uptick in calls from Black Hawk homeowners on insurance because as property values go up, which is what seems to be happening. You're the expert there, but that's what seems to be happening.
They want to
right
increase
now.
the
There are multiple
coverage
bids on properties and whatnot, but people are paying attention a little bit more to the values of their homes and the reconstruction costs. So all around, that's a good thing.
It is, and Danville and Black Hawk, a lot of the places that are, I call it no growth or 0 growth areas, or they didn't overbuild, have really maintained their property values, but not on. Aside from that, you've got the great school district, the quality of life. I mean, you get what you pay for out there. So when you're talking about home values going up, that's the thing I wanted to talk about. They have all. We didn't talk about this last time you were on, but and I'm so happy that you're back. By the way, Orlando Frasca is a broker for Rogers Insurance Services out in Black Hawk Plaza. And he has been in insurance for how many years now?
Oh, boy, 22 years.
Wow. Hey, you're almost in your silver anniversary year. That's pretty great. We have to throw a party.
That's a good idea. We'll do that.
Yeah, let's throw a party, exactly. And maybe it'll be Sunday morning and we can host a show from the party. Anyway, and you're also an author. You have written a few books, and one of them is in the library, Contra Costa Library. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. They've got it actually on their website to be downloaded if someone doesn't want to walk in and get them.
Okay. Do you have that website address? Or just go to what is it?
It's ccclib.org. The Contra Costa Library's actual website.
Hey, that's good. And just put in Orlando Frasca, Frasca, and your book should pop up.
Yeah, that should pop up there. They can find it on Amazon as well if they want to find an older version. Actually, I'm working on a version that we're hoping to get out by summer.
Hey, that's great. Well, you'll be back on at that time to help promote that book because that's wonderful. Now, we're going to have to take a little break, but the one thing that we didn't discuss and we'll discuss when we return is that we didn't discuss umbrella policies.
Okay.
So, hey,
after the break.
It's rainy weather. We'll open up an umbrella policy for you, and we'll be right back.
With personality.
Thank you for staying connected with Real Estate to Real Life and Marianne Cadorna. She keeps it light and witty while she gets you to the nitty-gritty of real estate and finance, and the real life is everything in between. Well, speaking of real life and insurance, oh my gosh, in Diablo they had that tree falling, but before we touch upon that tree falling, so don't go away. We want to talk about the umbrella policy. Now, umbrella policies, I guess the reason they call it that, Orlando, is because it protects the whole home. Is that why they came up with that title?
Well, no, the umbrella policy is supposed to pick up and protect where the basic insurance leaves off, but not for property values. That's a common misconception.
Okay, that's a myth.
It's really, yeah, it is. It's really designed for the liability part of an insurance policy, and this is why the now increasing cost of market value, right, in the real estate sector of homes, where umbrellas become more important, because the reconstruction cost of a house is still going to be the reconstruction cost, whether it's going to cost $1 million to rebuild or $500,000 to rebuild. It is normally covered by that portion of the policy, and then, of course, with the extended replacement cost that you'll see on a policy of 150 or 200% on top of that. What an umbrella policy is much, much more tightly tied, if you will, to someone's net worth, which, of course, means increasing equity in their house. So if someone has a $1 million liability policy, an umbrella policy, let's say, right, that $1 million will pick up wherever the liability on the homeowner's policy and the auto insurance policy leave off. So the example is, let's say you have a client who lives in Blackhawk that happened to buy a house in 2009, 2010 at the bottom of the market.
Okay.
Is that about right?
That's
okay.
right. Uh-huh.
So over the last 3 years, I'm going to assume that house has probably increased in market value.
It has. It has, yes.
Okay. And I'm going to guess that the market value of that house, let's just pick a number, has gone up, 20%, should we say?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right. So if they have a $2 million home, 20% is a $400,000 increase in what their tangible value is. So if they don't have an umbrella policy, and heaven forbid you're driving down the street, you're going to get something for lunch, you turn a corner, and some kid on a skateboard comes jumping off the sidewalk and you hit him, well, all of a sudden now you're on the hook for whatever those injuries are. And if those injuries are more than what's covered under your auto policy, what's going to pay for the medical bills, the defense costs that you're certainly going to get dragged under on the claim? If you don't have an umbrella policy, you won't have that coverage. Umbrella simply raises the limits on your underlying policies. Same thing on the tree falling this last week.
Yes,
just an older tree fell on somebody's house, destroyed it. They can't live there anymore, right?
Yes, it was red tagged.
Right. So now if that tree happens to be on your property and it falls on your neighbor's house, that's a liability issue that would be covered. And if rebuilding their house, let's say all you have for liability on your homeowner's policy is only $500,000, well, A, they got to live somewhere else for a while that house is getting rebuilt. And I don't know how long it takes to rebuild a home, but let's say safely at least 6 months, correct?
Yes.
So you have expensive putting somebody up somewhere else for 6 months, and the reconstruction costs, et cetera, where if it's going to come in over $500,000, the insurance company on your homeowner's policy is going to stop paying after that $500,000. Where's the rest of the money going to come from? They're going to attach your wages, take it out of your net worth, which is why you need an umbrella policy.
Out of your flesh.
Yeah, exactly. And believe me, the attorneys will.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, California.
So, and the danger when you get an umbrella policy, and people don't realize this, and it's not really explained to them very well by most insurance agents, okay, is that a true umbrella policy will pick up where all of your existing insurance leaves off. Most insurance agents, what we find, and we have to try and educate our clients and let them understand what we're doing and why we're doing it a certain way. Most people think they have an umbrella policy, but in reality, it's only a what would be called an excess liability policy, not a true umbrella, not really picking up everything coming along, only extending and increasing the amount of one policy. Not good.
So you actually do need a separate umbrella policy, is what you're
saying. You
saying.
need a separate true umbrella policy if you want to be covered correctly, yes.
Well, you won't be singing in the rain if you don't have an umbrella policy and you're not covered. So how does that work? Like, for example, I hate to call it a sue policy, but that's what
It
you're
is.
protecting yourself against, right?
Absolutely, protecting yourself against the lawsuits that come hitting. And the nice thing about true umbrella policies is that they will pick up the cost of defense as well as whatever needs to be paid out should the claim be deemed your fault or the
Okay.
court say it is, and here you go, here's the payout, here's the indemnity.
And that's why they call them accidents, because even if you didn't intend for it to happen, like for example,
Right.
that child jumped out, it's an accident. They stepped right in front of you, and there's nothing you can do. But at the same time, they're going to go after you, especially if they find out you live in an affluent area.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's interesting? You're right. You're 100% right. And you used an interesting word there, which was accident. Right? An insurance policy covers accidental situations. And it happened, there was something, I want to say in Antioch or Pittsburgh in the last couple of weeks,
Okay.
where somebody was chasing somebody else purposefully.
In a car?
The person, it was whatever. Let's just say it was a car that ended up T-boning not the person they were going after, but another car because they were running a red light. Some kind of,
Okay.
violent thing. Well, the insurance company for the people in the car that were going after these other people purposefully denied all claims.
Wow.
So whoever, because it was a purposeful, they were
Yeah,
doing that
intent.
on purpose. It wasn't a true accident.
It was intentional what you were
It
doing.
was intentional.
And you
Yeah,
knew it was dangerous. Yeah.
Premeditated, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? Which is different than running a red light. I mean, you run a red light, and you hit somebody, that's an accident. You're not
I don't
premeditating.
mean to laugh, but red lights nowadays, people don't even, that means go. But getting back to what you're saying, so if you had a serious intent to do harm, and in this case, who knows, road rage. I mean, there's so many
Who
things.
knows?
Right, but basically what you're saying is they're not covered, their claim can be denied, and basically they're out on their own.
Correct. Now, road rage, right, as is right now, the courts have upheld that, yes, it is something that's payable under an insurance policy, believe it or not.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, so if you're upset, not that you should get road rage.
Yes, you're not getting a license to rage, okay? You're
Correct.
just, thank you.
Yeah. But they do cover that. Anyway, but back to the home and the tree, just briefly. So not only let's say it was your home or your property the tree resides on, and it fell on my house.
Okay.
Right, just to have two people talk. Well, your insurance policy would cover to rebuild my house, make sure I'm living somewhere else, and the cost of my moving expenses. Right? Now, hopefully you have a true umbrella policy which will pick up where your homeowner's policy leaves off, because I can guarantee you it'll cost a heck of a lot more than $500,000 to rebuild my home, as well as put me up for 6 months to a year and moving me out and all the stuff inside the house that's now damaged.
Can
Now,
you
the
set
nice
the?
thing about-
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Okay,
ahead.
the nice thing about that insurance policy as well is for people who really, truly do care about trees and shrubbery on their property, if it's written correctly, it will actually pay to not only remove the tree and finish cutting it up, which could run into the thousands of dollars, right? Arborists will come in and charge a pretty hefty number of that, but they will, and your tree, if you will also be insured. They will pay to have you replant, the cost of replanting and buying another tree if you want of the same kind, especially if they're nice big oak trees. Those are not cheap.
No, they're not.
But your insurance policy would pay for all of that if
Wow.
it's written correctly.
Okay, well, and that's the most important thing. And how do you determine if it's going to be written correctly? I guess you would have to have somebody like Orlando Frasca to write the policy. But you do pre-reviews of people's policies, do you not?
We do, yeah. We'll offer whatever policy they have, that we'll go ahead and review it. And we've done so many of these over the years. It's relatively quick process for us once we've talked to the client about what they're truly concerned about and what they have. Whether they're our client or not, we'll do it for people who aren't our clients. And the only thing we ask there is we don't want just the first 2 pages of a policy, which show the dollar figures of what they're covered up to, for example. But we want to read the other 80 pages you get in the mail at every renewal that has all the stuff you're not covered for.
That's literally your declaration of independence.
Yeah.
Independence from liability, because it covers all the fine print with that. So basically, what you're saying is, can they set? We're going to have to go on break, but can they set the amount of the umbrella policy, or is that based on your assets, or can you set the price depending on the premium?
Yeah, no, you can choose whatever amount of umbrella coverage you want. And we have our recommendations for determining what you may want to choose, but the choice is completely up to you.
We recommend that you come back, and we'll be right back with Marianne and Real Estate to Real Life.
With personality, with personality, with personality. Personality, with personality, with personality.
Thank you for staying connected to Real Estate to Real Life. And if you just joined us, again, my guest is none other than the wonderful Orlando Frasca, broker of Rogers Insurance Services out in Black Hawk Plaza. And, we were talking about umbrella policy, and basically you can set, before we went on break, what we discussed is you can pretty much set what the amount you want to declare. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can choose any dollar figure you want for an umbrella amount. And what our normal recommendation is to start looking at an amount that is slightly higher than your net worth.
Okay.
And then we have a formula that builds out. A little bit too complicated to go in.
Okay, right. That's one show by itself. Yeah. And the premium is accordingly, correct? Whatever.
Right. And the reality is the premium on umbrella policies is so tiny. I mean, not only from a pure dollar level, but certainly on a relative level on how much protection you're buying for that dollar amount.
Well, I think any other words of wisdom regarding umbrella policies that people may not be considering, or may if they don't have? When should they? That's the question. When should they acquire an umbrella policy?
Well, people should have an umbrella policy if they're concerned about losing everything they've worked for.
Well, that's just it. So you don't want to be in a soap opera called As the Assets. We want you to protect your assets. So make sure to give Orlando Frasca a buzz. Now, by the way, don't just sit there and drink your coffee and listen to us here. Give us a call at 800-516-1220. Again, 800-516-1220. And ask Orlando any question that you may have regarding insurance. And it's not just home. Car, but one of the things that I did want to touch upon, we'll go ahead and finish up. I think we've covered the tree pretty well. What kind of coverage should you have to make sure that house, it says multi-million-dollar home in Diablo, what kind of coverage should you have to make sure that the improvement is totally going to be replaced? Because,
it comes that the person whose home the tree sat on, the property,
yes,
right,
the homeowner,
that the tree was on, that homeowner, their insurance liability policy, which ties into the umbrella, would pay to rebuild the home. Now, let's say those people don't have enough coverage.
That's the point, yeah.
Then the homeowners whose house got damaged by the tree, their insurance policy should step in and finish building the home. What that insurance company will do will go against the property owner that the tree sat on and sue them for whatever they paid out.
Well, they happen to own the home that the tree fell on.
Right.
Was it their tree? I got the impression it was their tree that fell on them.
Oh, I wasn't clear on that. They're not a client, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But if it was their tree, then their insurance policy will simply pay for everything.
But the improvement, how do they set that dollar value? And I think that's why it's important to have especially now with the prices appreciating, they should have a yearly checkup to see if they. I mean, this is and unfortunately for the Berman family, my heart goes out to you that this is really a tough break what happened, but it's almost like it happens to people and it's a wake-up call. I mean, get your policies checked, because if they don't have enough coverage, does that mean they have to pay the rest, or they get
the rest would be out of pocket. The insurance company is only going to pay up to a maximum of what's listed on their insurance declarations page. and that doesn't preclude any exclusions or restrictions, they may end up paying less, again, depending on their policy. Now, really, every year, every homeowner should have their insurance agent run a reconstruction cost estimate every year when the policy renews. And if your agent's not doing that for you, then that
you call Orlando Frasca. Sorry.
Absolutely, give us a call. We do it every year.
Yeah, exactly. And
in fact, I mean, you're seeing this on the real estate side, where when people are having to replace roofs, before the escrow closes, or there's other issues that need to be fixed. I mean, I've got to believe you've seen the price of roofs go up, the price of electrical.
Oh, everything.
Go up.
Yeah.
All of this factors in, and even though it cost $10,000 to build a roof 5 years ago, maybe it cost $20,000 today.
Today, exactly.
And you got to factor that in.
Yeah.
And if you don't increase your insurance policies
accordingly
to make sure that's covered, well, it's out of pocket.
Yeah, it's out of pocket, or you end up with a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home.
Yeah.
Where the big home used to be. I don't know if they're permitted for that, but anyway. Well, I think that's really good information, and an annual checkup, and what did you call that again?
Just making sure that the home's reconstruction cost estimate is run every year by your insurance agent.
Okay, and if they're not doing it, well, you need to call Orlando. He'll do it for you, and maybe you'll be so happy. And that's what it's all about: finding people who are going to go just the extra step to do a better job. And anyway, now that we have covered the tree, and it always happens right after the rain, right? I mean,
something always.
Yeah, always. And it always concerns me, because I see, especially, I'm sorry, in Blackhawk, I see all these redwood trees, okay? And then I'm showing a house, and it's right there overlooking the fairway, but the thing is, it's got like 5 redwood trees right there with a pool. I'm thinking, this place is going to have, I'm sorry, issues with the pipes.
Yeah. Well, and heaven forbid we have a summer where it's extremely dry, where, come August, September, anything will set it off.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of homes still have shingle roofs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So if you are planning on landscaping, please, be cognizant of the kind of trees that you plant. I mean, I don't recommend eucalyptus.
Yeah.
No, and make sure that you don't have trees that are going to really infiltrate the root system is going to infiltrate the pipes, because that's another issue. We're talking about main sewer line that get damaged, and you know what? I highly recommend for anybody listening right now that if you're going to buy a home, doesn't matter what price, but especially if you're in the multi-million-dollar range, you have to have. I insist that my clients get a main sewer line inspection, because that's one of the things that you cannot take care of after the close of escrow. And there are horror stories that has run $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 after the fact. Well, excuse me, the inspection can run you anywhere from $200 to $300.
Let me give you a dirty little secret on the insurance end, on the sewer lines, sewer backup.
Okay.
One thing that we find literally in nearly 100% of the clients that come to us for home insurance is that their former insurance agent, their former insurance policy, almost never included the sewer backup and the piping that goes up to the house, because in most situations, the municipality, the water company, the sewer company owns those pipes, even though they happen to be on your lawn to the front curb.
Right. But they don't own the backup.
I'm sorry, what?
They don't own the backup. It backs up. The damage is yours.
No, we're worse than that. If there's a problem with it, legally, the homeowner is responsible for fixing those pipes, even though they don't own it. They don't own it because it's on the homeowner's property.
Okay, well, there's the double whammy there. And nothing, I mean, that's a stench that no one ever wants to deal with, and the damage is going to go beyond the stink. It's going to really... It's going to really...
horrible.
It is horrible.
Yeah.
And it does happen. It really does happen.
Correct. And adding that endorsement for most policies is frankly, less than $20 a year.
Well, thank you
Get
so
that
much.
covered.
That was a golden nugget of information, Orlando, because that now the 9 counties that are listening to us have that information, and that's what this show's all
Right.
about. So, I really appreciate that. That interjecting that information, because again, I love homeowners to be protected. I love them to be fully informed so that they make a before the fact an informed before the fact decision. So if you don't want to have any after the fact insurance regrets, stay connected, and we'll be right back with Orlando Frasca of Rogers Insurance Services in Black Hawk, California.
With personality, with personality, with personality, with personality. Personality, with personality, with personality, with personality.
Thank you for staying connected to Real Estate to Real Life with Marianne Cadorna at Marianne.am and my wonderful guest Orlando Frasca of Rogers Insurance Services in Black Hawk Plaza in Black Hawk, California. And before we went on break, we were discussing, oh gosh, backup and the sewage, because you know what? I like my clients to get sewer inspections, main sewer line inspections when they're buying their home. And Orlando, just to recap, you were saying that's so important because who owns the sewage? If it backs
You
up.
own, you own the sewage, but the water company owns the pipes.
but you're still responsible for those pipes, right? Because
That's right. The homeowner's responsible for the. So yeah, even though you don't own the pipes, so to speak, the water company, if they have to come out and fix it for some reason, will bill you, the homeowner, and hopefully you have the insurance coverage, the proper insurance coverage, the endorsement that will pay the water company for that expense instead of having to come out of your pocket.
is there a name for that endorsement?
Yeah, so water and sewer backup.
Water and sewer backup.
Yeah, a couple of carriers might call it drain pipage.
Okay. Well, you know what? If you need someone to review your insurance policy, hey, Orlando's got your back, and even especially if you have a water backup, he's going to make sure you're covered, so you don't have any issues that need toilet tissues. So moving on there. I'm sorry. We have some pricey changes coming up according to Orlando, and what's coming up down the pike that's going to hurt.
Yeah, so two of the most recognized brand names that advertise on TV all the time have filed with the state of California, because the state of California has to go and they have to get permission before they have rate increases, okay, before they give insurance companies rate increases.
That's the Department of Insurance, right?
Department of Insurance, right?
Okay.
And one company has asked for a 28% rate increase.
Ouch.
And another company has asked for a 25% rate increase. Now, the 25% rate increase was granted. They're going to homeowners, as their policies start renewing with this specific company, which I don't think I can mention on the air, but
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
look it up on it
They
should
can
be
go
public information.
Okay.
We'll start seeing a 25% increase in their homeowners policy, and for the very unlucky few, depending on where they live, especially if they have a second home, this will impact people that are in the Danville, Blackhawk area, Alamo, San Ramon,
Ouch.
Pleasanton, and so on. Right,
The Tri-Valley.
that are insured with this particular carrier are going to see, for everybody whose policies renew after March 15th, they're going to start seeing a 25% rate increase. Now, if any of those people, or if anyone listening to the show happens to own a home in Lake Tahoe, Truckee, Arnold, somewhere in the mountains, that falls in a specific protection class, they're going to see a 75% rate increase on their homeowner's policy.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable. And
75. That means they're gonna have to sell their home. They want to afford
almost,
the
right?
insurance.
And these rates have been approved, and they're going through. So when that happened and they got approved, what normally happens is insurance companies then start asking for their own rate increases, submitting various amounts of empirical data. And another company that also very, very heavy advertiser on TV, they've got to pay for those advertising minutes somewhere. They're requesting a 28% rate increase across the board in the entire state, not just limited to certain areas.
So is it the insurance commissioner that approves these rate hikes?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
My gosh,
And again, going back to not to hurt my arm, patting myself on the back, but because I'm an independent broker, independent agent, not beholden to any one insurance carrier, I've got multiple options when that starts happening to people.
Well, I think, and that's very important for them to be able to reach you, and you'll be able to find information on how to contact Orlando Frasca at marianne.am. I think it's very important for you to get in contact and not have to pay these exorbitant increases. And the poor truckee people, my gosh, they're going to have to live in a truckee.
Almost.
Yeah.
And again, part of that's justified because you do have the increased cost of replacement material, but a lot of it is these insurance companies that had, for the last few years, undervalued their reconstruction costs are finding they're losing money.
Okay.
So they're having no choice but to suck it out.
Sounds like they need to do one of those things that you do with the. They got
to do better. Some of those have to do a better job of that.
Yeah, I think so, and they need to do an assessment of their construction costs every year too, just like you were just recommending.
Right.
Because to pass that on to the consumer at that level of increase, okay, middle class people, I don't know what's going to happen to you right now. You've got this coming down the pike. First time home buyers right now, effective on April 1st of this year, and not to declare April Fools, but that's just the first day of the second quarter, their mortgage insurance is going to go up. So depending on where they live and what insurance carrier they're going through, I think they're better off going through you, Orlando, and get a better break. But anyway, so there's so many things, and then the gas prices. So what are we going to do about this? I have a saying: when life gets beyond critical, it becomes comical, because you don't laugh, it's going to kill you. But the only way to kind of circumvent this is to go through an independent broker like yourself. Is that correct, Orlando?
Yeah, absolutely. We have carriers that haven't filed for rate increases because they've tried to be. Most of the time, the insurance companies that do that kind of thing are looking to buy market share and use the cash flow to invest and make their money on the back end, as opposed to the actual operation of the insurance program.
Oh, so I know who you're talking about with all the commercials. Every other commercial. Right. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's terrible.
And not to say, I have carriers that advertise as well, but certainly not as heavily. And the difference, I think, is some of my carriers, not all of them, of course, but some of my carriers have always towed the line. They're not looking to buy market share, but they're looking to provide a fair price for a good policy.
Thank you.
And those are the companies that are around for a long, long time.
That's
and
right.
Never really get burned and never have to burn their existing clients.
Well,
what's going to end up happening with these two
heavily advertised company. Well, here's the deal. We want you well covered. We don't want you covered with commercials. We want you covered with insurance policy.
Right.
So there you go. And I'd like, if you want more information, go to marianne.am. But Orlando, I think this is so critical that I would like you to give your phone number, please.
Sure. Our phone number is 925-365-3200.
One more time.
Yeah, I'll repeat again, 925-365-3200.
And you can cover anybody.
Opens at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday.
And you can cover anybody in the state of California. Is that correct?
I can cover anybody we're licensed in 18 states, including, of course, California.
Hey, you're listening online at kdow.biz, so you might as well email me at marianne@marianne.am, and I'll pass on your information to Orlando. And hey, if you're listening from Dubai, say hi. By the way, if you're a foreign national wanting to buy, you can say hi to me as well. Anyway, so any words of wisdom for what's happening in our marketplace today? And gosh, we already know what's going to save us money is to go through because you're a broker, independent broker. Not only that, you're a good guy. I really do mean that. Oh, and he's such a good guy. And also, I wanted to touch upon Father Frank a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Father Frank, and please, if you have, I do want to represent you, buying, selling, or short selling, because every transaction is actually a donation to Father Frank's kids. And Can you chime in on that, Orlando?
Yeah, Father Frank's Kids is an organization that was started about 50 years ago. We have a local version of it here in Danville that actually emanates from a lot of people out of St. Isidore's Church, and they support orphanages throughout the Central and South America. And what we're actually doing now, this week, I believe, and next week, we are putting together a couple of shipping containers where we're looking for things as simple as toothbrushes and shoelaces and underwear and socks for these orphans, and we're going to put them all in shipping containers and send it off at the end of next week. So if anybody needs to, finds in their heart, wants to make a donation, it's all, of course, a tax write-off. We are collecting for the container, and we're leaving it. The collection is going on at the corner of El Cerro and Laganda at the top of the hill there.
And what time will they be collecting?
No, it's going on all week long for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
So you can just go and drop it off. If you need a receipt for it, you can go to fatherfrankskids.org and call the number there, and they'll let you know when someone's going to be around with receipts for people who want receipts.
And I was really I attended the St. Isidore celebration, the fiesta, and these children are so beautiful. They're so humble and so grateful, and they're the way they are affects all of your members that go there too. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Well,
there's there's actually a handful of people that have come out of that program and developed into, giving back to society what they received, which is great to see.
And that's what we want you to do. We want you to contribute to humanity. And thank you so much, Orlando, for joining us. And
absolutely, Marianne, anytime.
You take care, and thank you for joining me. And we'll be right back with the love portion of my show. Okay, Marianne.am. Oh, this is my theme song for life. This was the world needed so much love back in the 60s, and 50 years later, they still need love. So I want Orlando Frasca of Rogers Insurance Services to just recap, because Father Frank's Kids is a wonderful organization. You are basically donating and giving to humanity. And what Orlando was saying is these kids come out of it as productive citizens, do they not, Orlando?
Yeah, absolutely right. Just almost to a child, they come out like that. And the nice thing about the program is that when they are 18, they have to choose one of two paths. One, go to university, or two, come back and help all the other orphans and work in the orphanage for 2 years. So they really have it dialed in on how.
That's really wonderful. So if you are interested at all, and I really hope you are, in your donation will help save a child's life. You're investing in a child's future. And would you kindly recap, Orlando, where they can drop off the donations and where they can go to online?
Yeah, absolutely. Online, they can go to fatherfrankskids.org, fatherfrankskids.org, just like how it's spelled out. And if they want to drop off donations, it's at the corner of Laganda and El Cerro Boulevard at the top of the hill there. And, even if you buy the 10-pack of toothbrushes from Costco and you only use 4 or 5 at a time and you still have the other 4 or 5 sitting there, we'll take those as well.
As long as they're new and unused.
But even things as simple as socks and underwear and whatnot, just to make sure the kids are clothed. And the big thing is always kitchen utensils and pots and pans, and just the real basics in life is what we're putting together. And we're going to have a shipping container that's going to get shipped out in a couple of weeks. So if you guys can get down there this week, if anybody cares to donate, that would be absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much, Orlando, for blessing us with, enriching us with your knowledge and wisdom, and blessing Father Frank's Kids with your support.
Absolutely.
You take care, dear. Thank you.
All right. Take care, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye. Also, I don't want to forget the trivia contest question. Chrysler 300. Thank you, Sergio Marchioni, for bringing sexy back to the American car. Again, my unanswered question is, what is the special engine that they put in? I'll give you a hint. The Superstar engine they put into the Chrysler 300. If you have the correct answer, call toll-free 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220, and I'm going to give you a gas card for $50. You don't think that's going to make your day? It'll make my day if I got a $50 gas card. So anyway, don't forget that if you are on the edge of losing your home, please do call upon me. Email me at marianne@marianne.am, and I will send you a little 3-page item on the 10 options you have to be able to your options before foreclosure. You can avoid it. That's my goal. I don't want you to go into foreclosure. That's why I'm a certified distressed property expert, CDPE. I know what I'm talking about, and I have the right heart, smart with heart. And that's what I provide. I do want to represent you, whether you're a buyer or seller, buyer or seller or fortune teller. Either way, you know, I am here because I dare to care. That's why I'm on the air. Marianne wants you to have the most important, pertinent real estate information so you can make a good before-the-fact decision. Now, don't forget, you know, everything. There's so many tough things going on, but you know what? Life doesn't always hand us a good deal. We don't always get dealt a good hand in life, and you know, sour grapes makes for bitter wine. So don't forget, no one ever wants to drink from the chalice of bitterness. So if you want to avoid becoming bitter, work on getting better. And don't forget to join me next week when my special guest is none other than the guru of marketing, the father of the modern day networking, which is Dr. Ivan Meisner. We'll be discussing his book, Business, Networking, and Sex. Not what you think. Marianne.am.
You've been listening to Real Estate to Real Life with your host, Marianne Cadorna. If you'd like more information on today's topic, log on to Marianne.am. That's Marianne.am. Join us next week for another edition of Real Estate to Real Life on AM 1220 KDOW.